Hey everyone, today we're going to have a special Kalua's Kitchen. We're at the cottage and we're going to make some apple fritters. So if you can see back there is our apple tree, and let's go pick some apples. It is the end of September. Well, by the time you see this, it'll be the beginning of October. But you can see all the apples still here left on this tree. The apples on my other tree are pretty much gone. So we're gonna go and pick some apples here. We're gonna pick 5 because they're not overly big, and then we'll see how many we need for the apple fritters. So let's go pick some and then we'll bring them into the kitchen. So we only need 2 large apples, but I grabbed more than 2 because they're not real large. So we're gonna peel them and then we're gonna chop them into cubes and get them ready for the frying pan. Okay, so we decided just to chop all 5 up. You only really need 2 large apples for this, but I don't think it hurts to have more apples. So we're gonna put more apples. So we chopped all 5 up into little cubes. I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of butter in the frying pan, and I'm gonna put the stove on about medium heat for between 5 and 10 minutes, and we're gonna kind of soften up the apples. We're gonna put the apples in the frying pan. Now we just squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on the apples and mix it up. We have 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. So we're going to put the apples in the frying pan once the butter is completely melted. And then as we're stirring the apples in the frying pan, we're going to pour those ingredients there in. And we'll keep stirring for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then as soon as you notice it start to get soft, you don't want the apples to be hard, so we're cooking them ahead of time so they don't have to be mushy. They still can be firm but soft, because if you just put them raw in the fritter batter and then you cook them, then they cook quick, so they'll be still hard once you bite into it. So we want to soften them up. You want it to, when you take a bite of it, to be almost like apple pie or whatever. So we're gonna come back when these are nice and soft. Now you can see that the apples have started to brown. So we did about 8 minutes once everything was kind of absorbed into the apples. Now you want to let this get to room temperature. You don't want it to go into the mixture hot. So we're going to let that cool. We're going to get the other ingredients. What we have here is we have 1 2/3 cup of all-purpose flour. We have 3.5 tablespoons of sugar, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 3/4 teaspoons of salt, and 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm gonna put a pinch of nutmeg in there, 2 large eggs. I'm gonna have 1/2 cup of milk. Now we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're gonna melt it. So we got some melted butter there. We're gonna let that cool, and then we're gonna get 2 cups of canola oil. We're gonna put all the dry ingredients here together, and then we're gonna mix it nicely so it's all consistent. Next, we're going to get the wet ingredient together. So we got put the eggs in the milk, and we're gonna beat them up so nice and beat. And then we're gonna put the vanilla and the butter together, and we're gonna mix all that up. Okay, so now that you've mixed your wet ingredients, you're going to pour it into the dry ingredients. And then once the apples have cooled, yep, they're room temperature, we're going to put the apples in there. Don't worry, my hands are clean. And then we're going to mix it so it's nice and consistent. Just to smell throughout the place. So we're going to mix it, and then we'll come back when it's completely mixed. So what you want is a certain consistency. This is kind of what you want. You want it thicker than pancake batter, not as thick as peanut butter. You want to be able to, boom, soon when you drop in your fritter mixture, that it'll go into the oil nice and easy, right? So we're going to put the 2 cups of oil in a skillet. Now you don't have to use a skillet. You can use a frying pan or whatever you want. We're going to get it up to 350 degrees. We're going to grab a thermometer and put the oil in there. And while we're waiting for the oil to get to temperature, you want to you can get your glaze ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to make 2 versions. We're going to make your kid-friendly version or a non-alcoholic version, or you're going to make your alcoholic version. So if you want to do all non-alcoholic version, you're going to use 2 cups of powdered sugar. Now just have a 1/4 cup of milk and a teaspoon of vanilla, or half a teaspoon of vanilla, but you're not even going to need the 1/4 cup of milk. You're going to add probably half of that 1/4 cup and mix it in there, because you're going to realize that goes a long way, the powdered sugar. And then what we're going to do is just add a tablespoon at a time of Fireball until you can get the consistency. Since we're going to do both versions, we're going to kind of split it up and put 1 cup of powdered sugar and add a little bit of milk at a time. And then we're going to do the Fireball in the other cup. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. We're going to mix those. So we'll probably do like tablespoon at a time and then mix it until we get the consistency we want. Okay, so this one's the non-alcohol one. I know I was saying alcoholic, but it's the non-alcohol one. We're just doing a tablespoon at a time of milk. As you can see, just 2 tablespoons in, it's already getting, you don't want it too runny, but you want to at least be able to pour it on the apple fritters. We're going to add a little bit of the Fireball at a time, so about a tablespoon at a time. And then if you have never had Fireball, it's a cinnamon whiskey. And you just want, you can see the non-alcohol version. That was probably what, 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons worth there. That's mean you probably don't need a whole lot because it does mix in with the powdered sugar really well. We're almost to temperature. And then once we get to temperature, we're gonna throw this batter in there and get frying. All right, so now we're gonna spoon it in there. We're at 350. We're gonna try to fit a couple in there. So in about a minute and a half, we'll flip them over. Now you gotta make sure that your temperature is at 350, because if it's hot, then it's gonna burns real quick. I'll try to flip it over without splashing anything. There we go. And then we'll do another minute and a half on that side. We're about ready to pull these ones out. Now, if you have a rack, a wire rack, you can do it. We don't have one here at the cottage, so we're just going to put it on some paper towels, let the grease drain out of the a couple more. We actually made 7, but that's why you got to watch that oil. We got a little too hot. So if you get too hot, then it burns the outside real fast. You can see this one is good, but it could get burned real fast. These cook so quick that you want to make sure that your temperature is 350 and not too much higher, or else it'll burn on the outside and still be doughy on the inside. You want to kind of cook it through. So now that we got these ready to go, we're going to put some glaze on it. So this is the fireball side and this is the no alcohol side. So we'll put a couple glazes on some of these and then we'll close it up. We're just going to drizzle it across, just like that. And there you go. So we'll cut it in half, just so you can see. Nice, light, and fluffy. And there you go. If you have any questions, leave in the comment section below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell to be notified when I post another video. And we'll talk to you later.